Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. It's an open the box and it's an unboxing of something new from a company whose games I have featured on this channel and have enjoyed very much indeed. It's Across the Bug River, Volodymyr-Volynskyi, 1941. Hope I pronounced that right. Designed by Krzysztof Biernacki and published by Vuca Simulations. And I must thank Patrick and everybody at Vuca Simulations for sending me this review copy. Thank you very much. So what's all this about? The situation. Early in the morning of June 22nd, 1941, the German army unexpectedly crossed the borders of Soviet Russia, thus launching Operation Barbarossa. One of the resistant points on the Molotov line, the second fortified area near Volodymyr-Volynskyi, found itself in the advanced zone of Army Group South. The breakthrough in this place was supposed to be done by the 3rd Motorized Corps, elements of the 1st Panzer Group von Kleist, and by the 29th Army Corps, part of the best-known German Army, the 6th. At the outbreak of the war between Germany and Soviet Russia, in the Volodymyr-Volynskyi region, there were elements of the 5th Army, 41 Tank Division of the 22nd Mechanized Corps, and the 87 Rifle Division from the 27th Rifle Corps. Most of the remaining elements of both corps were far from the border. The situation was not improved by the fact that the 41st Tank Division was ordered to go to the Kovel area, north of Volodymyr-Volynskyi, where the main strike was expected. Only 2 battalions from the 82nd Regiment were left to support the 87th Rifle Division in delaying the German advance. So this game, Across the Bug River, is an operational level simulation about the fighting during the first days of Operation Barbarossa in the Volodymyr-Volynskyi region. The goal for the German player is to break through the Soviet defence lines and open the main road to the east. Game contents: 1 rulebook, 1 mounted map, 396 large counters, 2 double-sided player aid charts, 2 double-sided setup and reinforcement charts, and 2 10-sided dice. So the unit scale is battalion, time scale 8 to 16 hours, map scale 2.2 kilometers per hex, scenarios 3 including a campaign, the playing time 240 minutes to 15 hours depending on the scenario, and players 2 players or solitaire play. Here we've got the credits, some of the counters there, and on the game meter the complexity is 6 and the solitaire suitability 8. The box art may look familiar because if you have this game, Crossing the Line, Aachen 1944, you'll probably find this okay to play because this is based on the sort of mechanics of crossing the line. Now normally at this point I say let's get the shrink wrap off, but there is no shrink wrap on this game. Vuca Simulations are doing away with all that, so if you get this game, don't panic, there's no shrink wrap around it. So let's open the box. And just like the other games they have published, this box has that lovely sort of, I don't know if we can pick it up on the old camera there, lovely sort of linen finish. It's quite a tough box, but look at that, lovely. First thing we see are the rules, so let's have a look at them. These rules come in at 24, 25, 26 pages with the back page, glossy paper, full colour. And here we've got the situation of June 22nd, 1941, table of contents, introduction and summary of the game sequence and what the equipment does. And as I say, if you have Crossing the Line, this will look a little bit familiar. Headquarters and the game markers. And if these counters are anything like the other counters in their games, you're in for a treat. Standard procedures, stacking, zones of control, formations, and independent units. Effectiveness check, supply, command range, operations phase, and activation of formations, how they react, actions you can do, how much they cost, because there's sort of action points in this game. Combat action sequence. 3 types of attack: hasty, regular, and prepared. And there's chip pull in this game, which is why it is good for solitaire. And here's an example of one of the chits, the combat chits you pull. Armour superiority, dice roll modifier examples. The refit action. Improved defense, admin phase. Victory conditions, scenario special rules. And here we go with the scenarios. Scenario 1 just uses a small piece of the map, as does scenario 2, and then the whole campaign, of course, uses the whole map. Designer notes. As it says here, Across the Bug River game uses the system known from the game Crossing the Line, Aachen 1944. So there we are. Some nice information on the conflict itself. Tips for the Soviet player, tips for the German player, and some developer notes. So there we are. And a glossary at the back. And a nice sequence of play, combat sequence and combat DRM's summary on the back cover. Them's the rules. The components for this game are second to none. These are some of the best components I've seen in games. And I'm not just saying that because they sent me a review copy. Hopefully it'll come across when I show you the components. The rule book, high quality. And here's the first of 4 counter sheets. And they are very nice looking. Slight gloss to them with that linen finish, which I hope is being picked up by the camera. They are pre-rounded, so you're just going to have to pop them out. Look at that, and there they are. You just pop that back so I don't lose it. Nice thickness to the card. And here's the other side. Is it disrupted? I can't remember. The first game that this company brought out, Crossing the Line, Aachen 1944, was the first hex and counter game I played on my channel. So I do have a bit of a soft spot for it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. Probably played it with tons of mistakes, but even so, great experience. So I'm looking forward to this one. Here's the second counter sheet. Improved defences, action points available. These are the formation markers which you activate. And if I remember rightly, you have to see how many action points each formation gets. There we are. Number 3. These are the current combat strength markers which you twist around to show the strength out of command. Some victory point tokens here. Isolated boat movement, that's new. Pontoon bridge, I think that's new as well. Interdiction is in the other game. Crossing the line. Nice. And the last sheet, we have some more combat indication markers. These are the combat chits that you pull. This is used to help you read the combat results table. And it looks like we've got the Great Crisis of Frederick II additional markers here. Yeah, well, there's some missing or something, but they're there. And here's some crossing the line replacement counters. I think some of these numbers were incorrect. Wasn't a big issue, but there we are. They're replacements, and some optional combat chits for the crossing the line game. Wonderful. There we are. Next are the player aid cards, and I mean cards literally. These are as thick as the counters. Piece of card there, wonderful. First time they've done that, with all the info you need, action point costs, explanation of the counters, and on the other side we've got the combat results table, the CRT, and the terrain effects chart, the TEC, and a combat sequence. And that little thing I showed you on the counter sheets, this is just something to aid you so you know where you are. You line this up, get the ratio you want, and then, if I can keep it still, you can read down your die roll. Wonderful little thing. We have the campaign board set up, where to put everything for the Germans and the Soviets. We've got a reinforcements master chart per turn, and on the other side, scenario 2 board set up the German and Soviet forces. And lastly, the tracks sheet for solitaire play. Look at that. That's single-sided. There we are, that's all the player aids. There are 2 D10s. And last but not least, the mounted map. So, let's have a look at that. Here's the map in all its glory. It's a standard size. Here's the left edge. We'll have a close-up in a minute, and over here the other side. But the colours are wonderful. Again with a linen finish. So let's have a close-up. So here's a close-up. Here's Volodymyr-Volynskyi, and over here we can see the Bug River. And if you get this game, it doesn't show up too well on here, but there's sort of texturing a pattern behind this colour here, which gives it a sort of 3D-ish effect. Lovely looking map. Here's some more detail. Lukachi, hope I'm pronouncing that right. So pretty open terrain with a few sort of forests and things. Up on the edges of the map, we've got the usual sort of supply points of entry for the Soviets, and down on the bottom we've got them for the Soviets, and the Germans. Here is where all the German formations go. They move up and down this to show you how many action points they've got, I believe, if I remember correctly. Here we've got a similar layout for the Soviet forces, where their formations go and their action points. And along the side, we have the game term marker, the initiative DRM. That's an interesting little mechanic. And the interdiction value. So that's the, in my opinion, rather glorious looking map. So this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of Vuca Simulations' brand new game Across the Bug River, Volodymyr-Volynskyi, 1941, and designed by Krzysztof Biernacki. And thanks once again to Patrick and everyone at Vuca Simulations for sending me this review copy. Very kind of you. So I hope you enjoyed this and you found it of interest, especially if you're thinking of getting across the Bug River and you now have a better idea of what's in the box. So there we go. If you did enjoy the video and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel, because it really does help. And another thing that helps tremendously is pushing the like button of this video, the thumbs up, and the bell, of course, if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads. Leave a comment. I have fond memories of playing Crossing the Line, Aachen 1944, and videoing it as my first hex and counter game. And now I've seen this, I think I want to get that out again. But hopefully in the near future we'll have a playthrough of this one. So tell me what you think. I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. And one last thing, if you want to support the channel a little bit further, well, now you can buy the channel a coffee. And all those coffees do indeed go towards helping the channel to upload new content. If you wish to check that out and see what it's all about, I shall leave a link in the description. And thank you. So, until next time, as always, you take care and goodbye.